Punch it till your fingers bleed.
And you know what? Look, you use these two horses, and you've got a lot of exotics moving forward with these two horses. You've got the Daily Double, the Pick 3, the Pick 6. These two horses are the horses to key on. We're talking about the 6, Mastery, and the 5, Father Time.
Wow, he just treads right all over the flag, if his family could see him now. Simon Bray, what's your approach to the marathon?
I'm doing the same thing. Tom is on the right plan here. I think it's Mastery over Father Time. Mastery has been beaten on a synthetic surface, yes, but it was only half a length in the Kentucky Derby Challenge behind Mafaz. That's a very good effort. So it's all about Mastery and Father Time in behind. It's as simple as 6-5, then move on to the next race.
So, Paulie, they're telling us to basically roll over, give it to the Europeans. Are you going to do that in the marathon?
No, you can't take 9-5 or 6-5 on Mastery. You got to go with the veteran Cloudy's Night at 8-1. And like Todd said, Rosemary Homeister Jr. can flat out ride. Look at this fractions of his last race. They went 48-4. He was 20 lengths out. When they went to the 6 furlongs, he was 3.5 lengths. He made a huge middle move and was able to sustain it. The 1 3/4 will be no issue for an old class horse. I think Cloudy's Night wins the race, and you're going to get a price.
USA, USA, USA. Let's move on to a very different race from the marathon to the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies Turf. A mile on the grass. And as we take a look at the morning line here, yet again we find another European with most of the attention, Lily Langtree at 3-1. And why not? She's almost $1 million earner already.
That's right. And we were talking to our European correspondent, Graham Cunningham, earlier this week, and he said that Lily Langtree, he heard that Ade O'Brien said it was one of the best chances he had of winning a race this week. So I think that deserves a lot of merit, a lot of respect. But outside of Lily Langtree, I think you can go 4 or 5 directions with some of the homegrown horses here.
Let's take a look at the time form ratings in here. And do we find Lily Langtree at the top of this list?
She should be. I mean, she's coming off a decent win in the Tattersalls Fillies Restricted Stakes, and she is. She's co-124 with Linez, who is an interesting long shot for me.
Wow, Linez is up there?
Yeah, she is. She was 3rd in a Grade 1. She's trying 2 turns and the turf for the first time. At 20-1, I wouldn't talk you off her. She's an interesting long shot.
Okay, you can't stop at the time form ratings. After all, for the last week or so, we've been doing a show called The Works. And there is a horse in this race who made a great impression, Tappett's Fly.
Yeah, Tappett's Fly made a great impression working on the turf here at Santa Anita. And on this particular work, well, you're going to watch her gallop there, but you can see the same kind of stride that you saw on the turf. She really gets over the ground well, does very well there, and to me, she is a horse to be dealt with. Probably a horse that'll be laying close towards the front end. That'll give her an advantage over the Europeans. They'll be sitting a little further back.
What do you think of that win, Paulie, up at Saratoga, her only try on the grass?
You know, that was, she sort of ended up on the lead. So when you ask that question, can she rate? I think she can, because I don't think she really wanted to lead up in Saratoga. I think she got it and went on to it. She got an easy lead in that, so she has to prove that she can rate. But I think she's a major player. I think both the horses that come out of that race as well, Smart Seattle has got a big shot as well for the Americans. If Lily Langtree, yesterday when Aidan O'Brien brought his horses out, looked absolutely phenomenal. If she looks the way she's going to run, they're all running for second.
The Juvenile Fillies Turf is just one race where Ken McPeak has a 2-year-old with a big chance. He's got almost every division covered amongst the 2-year-old races that are offered over the 2 days. But House of Grace, I thought, was especially impressive in the Jessamine last time out because she had to overcome a difficult trip.
There's no question about that. What you read in the racing form doesn't do the trip, doesn't do House of Grace justice, the trip that she had to endure. It really doesn't say that she was down on the inside and had to steady and wait for room. She really overcame a lot that day, and I think Mike Luzzi, I'm very happy that Ken McPeak has retained him to ride this horse. She knows her, and I was impressed. First start around 2 turns on the synthetic surface, a surface which she probably doesn't really like a whole lot. She's more bred to the grass, and I think she's a major, major player in here.
She was the easiest kind of winner in her first start, Simon, and that was a 2-turn race on the grass going 1:16, won by 5 lengths. As a trainer, that's very, very difficult to get a horse ready to run 2 turns, and for her to dominate like that was very special. Now, her next start came on the synthetic. If you believe that she's a better grass horse, I look for big improvement here for her to move forward off that initial grass race. I'm not even looking at that synthetic race. I look at that first grass race as the key to her improvement. As you watched her gallop there, Paul, you can see that she's in good form.
Yeah, you know, that race at Saratoga was an okay race that she won, but she won by a distance. And, you know, I think she's a better grass horse than she's a synthetic, but I think she showed her class last time. She's got another big shot. I think this race is completely wide open. I do like a long shot in the race, and the 2-horse Elusive Galaxy, to me, has got a shot. If you like Lily Langtree, this horse was only 2 lengths back. They took this horse to Woodbine, Rafael Bejarano went to the front. I think the running style is going to take back now. If you look at this horse's past performances, you're going to get 20 to 25 to 1. Where Lily Langtree might be 6 to 5 in the race, and he was 2 lengths behind her in Europe.
Speaking of horses who'll be going to the lead, Rose Catherine, you saw her first try on the grass, and it was awesome.
Yeah, it was pretty.
Thunder here.
Yeah, it was pretty darn impressive. You know, she went 108 and change and galloped. And I remember we asked after the race, is this horse going towards the Breeders' Cup? The way she ran, she exploded on the turf. You know, it's going to be very difficult. Now you got to go around 2 turns. She might face some pace pressure, but I'll tell you what, she was also impressive. She went almost 11 and change the last quarter in that race.
All right, Tom, let's start with you. Who do you like for the Juvenile Fillies turf?
I'm going to play around the favorite, Lily Langtree. I think she's legitimate. I think she's the class of field, a field that, in my opinion, is not really that strong compared to other years we've had this race on the grass, which hasn't been that many, obviously. But I do like a long shot that we talked about, and that's the 4-horse Rose Catherine. Won her first and only start on the grass, albeit 6 furlongs. She is going to be the one that goes to the front. Let's see if she can get that mile and 16th distance, that 2-turn distance. If she can keep that same stride she had in Belmont, they won't get close to her, and she's a huge long shot.
Simon, I don't know if I even recognize the guy who's sitting in the middle of our set. It was in the middle of the works when we were having an Aidan O'Brien love fest that he cautioned us about playing the Europeans. Now Tom Amos has picked 2 Europeans to start the day on Friday.
Yeah, I don't know what's happening. We've been working him too hard. I think his brain's got a little fuzzled here. But I think you play this race all around House of Grace, the 7 for Ken McPeak. This horse is proven around 2 turns, proven on the turf. Some of the others in here are going to be asked that question for the first time. But I'm with Tom on Rose Catherine. Posted the fastest by a speed figure of any colt or filly 2-year-old on the grass this year. So Rose Catherine, I think, is a play in here, but you start with House of Grace and then move on from there.
Paulie, your selection for the Juvenile Fillies turf?
I actually love Smart Seattle in this race. The first race that she won at Saratoga, I was there. She had an absolutely brutal trip. It was 5.5 furlongs. She came storming home. She came back the next race, lost to Tappett's Fly, but like we said, Tappett's Fly had a lone lead. He had a rush up early, or she had a rush up early, and sort of got pace compromised a little bit and finished. I don't really think she liked the synthetic, and she only lost by a nose last time. I think back on turf, gets a great draw in the 3-hole. It's going to sit a trip. Graham Motion is an upper echelon kind of trainer, and Jeremy Rose is a great rider. I think Smart Seattle gets it done at a price.
We want you to experience everything that the Breeders' Cup World Championships is about. You can do it at tvg.com by making wagers. We also have a special promotion with a Breeders' Cup saddle towel and a chance to experience the thrill. And how about this? Whose number is that? Whose number is that, Simon? Whose number is that?
Yeah, that's the man to my left here.
Paul LaDuca, your playing number. How great is that? Yeah. This saddle towel could be yours with our special promotion to experience the thrill of the Breeders' Cup World Championships. And find out more at tvg.com. Own a piece of history, wager on the Breeders' Cup, and win a replica saddle cloth of the Breeders' Cup Classic winner. TVG's got you covered. If you're interested in the Breeders' Cup World Championships, you've come to the right place, America's Horse Racing Network. There are many ways to experience the Breeders' Cup World Championships, and TVG is going to show you each and every one. Here's our TVG Championship giveaway. And Simon, you were just talking about this the other day.
It certainly is. This is one of the best giveaways that TVG has done over the last 9 years. Get in on your chance to own 1 of 5 shares of a racehorse's future winnings. This is presented by our sponsor, West Point Thoroughbreds. Bet the Breeders' Cup with TVG to enter. Go to our website, tvg.com, for more details, and you could become a horse owner.
Sweepstakes giveaways, and maybe the best giveaway, money. They're giving it away 2 days at the Breeders' Cup World Championships, and there's also some very special wagers. One that I'm particularly interested in is the double over 2 days, the Ladies Classic to the Classic on Saturday, Friday to Saturday.
Yeah, that's a good wager, and of course, don't forget the jockeys head-to-head wager. 14 betting interests with the jockeys. This is a new wager for the first time this year, and currently installed at 3-1 on the morning line is Garrett Gomez, or you could take a guy like Frankie Dettori around 8-1 right now.
Let's move on to our next race on Ladies' Day on this preview show. It is the Grey Goose Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies, and there is not a European shipper to talk about in here, so Tom won't have a selection at the end of this. It'll just be the 3 of us actually analyzing this race. Blind Luck, the winner of the Oakleaf last time out, the slight morning line favorite at 3-1.
She's come a long way. She's come a long way from a maiden 40,000 victory by 13 lengths at Calder to being the best filly on the West Coast. Is she good enough to beat the East Coast and the Canadian Invaders? 3-1, too short for me.
Here's how Timeform sees the race with these 2-year-old fillies traveling a mile and a 16th. Time form for Blind Luck is 132, but with these 2-year-olds, you can expect them to improve, make dramatic improvements. So even those horses who may be way off at this point near the bottom, like Always a Princess, could jump up and challenge any one of these top ones.